2 AI gateways and the same promise. One key for every model without a lock-in. I'll put both on one screen and run the exactly same job through each, so you can see which one actually fits your firm. Because if you pick it wrong, you will either overpay at scale or you can't prove where your client data went. First, let's talk about what is an AI gateway. It's a proxy that sits between your apps and every model provider. You change only one base URL and you keep your existing code within the app. It will route to 100 of models without juggling separate keys and separate bills. OpenRouter and Requesty were built with different users in mind. OpenRouter is a developer marketplace. It has 8 million users and roughly 100 trillion tokens a month. It optimizes for breadth and speed. It loads providers, builds in 5 minutes, and clever auto router that picks the model for you. Requesty is built for teams that answer to someone. It optimizes for governance. It has a specific budget controls, access controls, and a data residency. It carries plenty of models too, more than any firm will ever use, with the controls wrapped tightly around them. Okay. Same prompt, both tabs, 4 rounds, let's go. Round 1, cost. And this one is really about 2 questions. What does it each charge? And how can each be clever about which model it picks? Because the smartest way to cut your AI bill isn't a discount. It's not using an expensive model when a cheap one would do. OpenRouter has a model literally called Auto. You don't pick a model, you send it to Auto and it analyzes your prompt and routes to the best fit from a current pool. For the auto router, there is even a dial, 0 to 10, where 0 always grabs the most capable model and the 10 always grabs the cheapest. There is no extra fee for the auto routing. You pay the standard rate for whatever model runs. It's a 5.5% when you top up in the card, 80-cent minimum charge. So a small top-up can effectively cost you up to 16%. Now, if you bring your own keys, then the first million requests a month are free of charge. Okay, let's do the comparison of what does the auto routing and the cost saving looks like on an OpenRouter. So you open OpenRouter and then you select auto router in the model. So the way this looks, if you go into add model and you search for auto, you select auto router. So we have our prompt. Prompt contains very sensitive information we will use for later demo. You can see I have no model selected. Now, if I submit, it will pick a model for us. In this case, it selected the DeepSeek R1. Now, it's important to note that if you go into the settings and into the router, as I explained earlier, with the auto router, you get to select the quality and you also get to pick what models are allowed or not allowed. So you will be able to control and make sure that only certain models are selected for it and others are not. Now, let's flip to Requesty. It does the same job from the other direction. It routes to the cheapest equivalent model automatically. It caches repeated calls and charges a flat 5% on the base cost. There's no top-up fee and no minimum. The Requestly on our plan does not offer the auto model selection. On this particular plan that we have, which we can't upgrade at the moment, in the routing policies, we don't have a choice to select one for the cost optimization. Nevertheless, Requestly offers other types of cost optimization. So let me demonstrate. If I submit this, I select the model, submit this. It responds very quickly. It shows the actual performance, shows the costs, tokens. So that's all looks very nice. Now, if I submit this again, the reason I'm showing that is because it will use caching. If we go into analytics, you could see we have the cost savings over here. Let me refresh that. Cost savings over here at 4.8%. So what happens is automatically will apply various strategies, including caching, to catch and save on the cost. And that applies across the board. It's important to know the OpenRouter doesn't have the same cost savings features. Round 2 is the control. The question I care about as an operator is, can I stop the team overspending before it happens? Not just to get told after that my bill is huge. Okay, for the budget control in OpenRouter, you go into Guardrails, and that's where you configure a number of other guardrails. We will come back and talk about the sensitive information detection. And over here is the budget policy, and you can apply the guardrails for various API keys. I have at the moment only one API key and one set of guardrails that applies to all keys. That's the budget is. And we could go and set something very, very small, demonstrate how that works. Okay, so there we go. We put 10 cents. And let's go have a look the way that works in the playground. Let's select Terra Pro. I will burn through the budget in no time and go. You could see that request requires more credits or fewer max tokens, and we exceeded our budget. And that's one example how you can control it. Now, it's important to say that in the guardrails, you get to configure them and then you get to assign it to various items. So you can assign it to multiple keys, multiple members. So Requestly offers two methods. One is the alert configuration, where you can configure various alerts. So you have a choice of API key spends of a particular amount, particular level of budget, group spends, organization spends, and then also the other place where you can hit a hard limit. And that's this one over here, where you can set the limit. Compared to on the other screen, where we just get an alert, on this one, we can set a hard limit. Smallest amount I can set is $1. So set $1 budget over here. And now let's go and spend $1. Okay, let's give it a book to read. Read the book and summarize for me. That'll definitely burn $1. There you go. And just like that, we reached our limit on an API key. Okay. Round 3, and it's about data residency. 2 parts here. We're going to be stripping the sensitive data before it leaves and where your data is actually physically processed. On OpenRouter, we have our prompt, and our prompt contains some phone numbers, contains the credit card numbers, contains the email address. So let's send that in. And what we'll see is DeepSeek will receive that information, which is completely fake, but it will receive, and the prompt is such that it will regurgitate some of it back. And you will see it has received that information, such as names and other information, so we can also ask it, what's the email address and card number? There you go. Now, go back into the guardrails and enable it all in. Press save, start a new chat, prompt, submit. There you go. And now you can see it actually got the placeholders. It still got the phone number, but admittedly this phone number is a bit fake and there's no real phone number. But all the other placeholders put in place. So now if we ask it, what was the credit card number? There's going to be no answer. Now, the other part to note is if you go into Guardrails, and that's where you configure model and provider access, and you can select which models you want, that actually non-frontier, others, access policy. You can block or allow models. You can disable and enable any specific providers. But what you find that there isn't really a way as such to guarantee a particular residency. So there isn't really a way to say, I only want my data to be sent within the European Union. And that's one of the key differences, because with Requestly, if we go into the model library, you can then go and select each individual models, and what you find that you can see which region that they're in. So if you need to make sure that you approve models only for the EU, you can literally filter it out and allow only for those particular regions. Then you create a separate allow list for the EU, and the data will stay within the EU itself. Now, I wanted to show you how it works with PII detection, but unfortunately it's enterprise plan only. And I did speak to the co-founder. Unfortunately, they couldn't enable it in time for me to run this video. But yeah, the software provides very similar PII detection to the OpenRouter. Okay, round 4, reporting. Both logged every call I just made. The difference is who the dashboard is built for. On OpenRouter, the spend is per model, per key, with the alerts and observability. It's for a developer with a single product team in mind, and that's usually plenty. Now let's flip to Requestly. It's the same underlying data, but framed for an operator. The spend is per user, per team, per model in a real time and tied to the access control. It's less, here's your API activity, and more, here's what each team is costing you. They even throw in the leader dashboard. Now, the honest verdict, they both report well. And OpenRouter's view is a developer-shaped, while Requestly is a manager-shaped. Which one should you run? The final scorecard is closer than the internet will tell you. So the routing is a tie, cost control is a tie, PII scrubbing is also a tie. Reporting is very close. These two have converged hard recently, so the decision isn't a feature checklist, it's 2 things: how it's built and how is it built for. You should pick OpenRouter if you're developer-led, if you want the widest model choice and a faster start. You bring your own keys at a low to moderate volume, and EU residency isn't a hard requirement. It's breadth and auto-router and the pass-through pricing hard to beat for a building fast company. Now pick Requesty if it's a non-technical person who owns the budget and the risk, and you want governance that's approachable rather than buried in a console. And the big one, and you need the EU resident processing without an enterprise contract. It's EU hosted in Frankfurt by default, and the controls are built for the person who signs the check. Here's one mistake to avoid. Don't pick either one until you can see what your firm is using today. The gateway enforces control. It doesn't tell you what to control, and that comes first. Before you pick a gateway, consider doing our short AI readiness assessment that maps exactly where you should be using AI within your firm. The link is in the description. Once you can see the picture, the choice makes itself. If you have any questions, pop them in the comment. I will get back to you within a day or so.